Live from Boca Ice Center, it's the nightcap between two M3 teams on opposite sides of the state of Florida and opposite sides of the record books for now, but with some past history and a chance at redemption. Both these squads looking to bounce back after losses. It's the Tampa Spartans, number 3 in the nation, taking on the FAU Owls. Hi everybody, Devin Serra riding solo for you here tonight in this late one, as the FAU Owls are coming off a loss to the Lynn Fighting Knights in the College Hockey South game of the week. The Owls lost 6-2 from Palm Beach Skate Zone in a tough game that saw them take a lot of penalties, especially late, and concede what was a lead for them in that game to 5 unanswered Fighting Night goals. Drew Renzi and Peter Petito were big for them in that contest, and they were big in their sweep of the ACDC Miami Hurricanes. But tonight is a new challenge, a bigger challenge, against the newly ranked number 3 team in ACHA Men's Division 3, the Tampa Spartans. And talking about this group and Jack Walsh in his 6th season at the helm, sitting at 9-3-0-0 on the year. They are 9-3 in all those games division played, 3rd in the conference standings. They had not lost a game until mid-October when they dropped 1 of 2 to Miami M3, which was a big upset in Clearwater Ice Arena. They followed that up with a comeback win, but then got swept by USF this past weekend. They are the Battle at the Beach champions from the Battle Division, beating Embry-Riddle and Lynn University. But I talked to Jack Walsh about his series at USF, and he said the team has wiped it clean. They took a lot of penalties in that series. It has killed them in their young season so far, but their penalty kill is one of the best in the nation, sitting at a 90% penalty kill clip so far on the campaign. Big guy to watch out for them tonight is Matthew McMillan, who's been a big defenseman for them. He's been one of the best freshmen on this team, which is a young, talented Tampa squad, and they'll get a look in net when we talk about our previews for both teams before puck drop. On the FAU side of things, Andy Yagoda's squad is up and down, as you say. They're in the middle right now, 6-8, 0-1 on the season, but they're 2-5, 0-0 in division play. And on that Lynn loss at the end of that contest, Andrew Yagoda was shouting some frustrations with this FAU M3 team. That is a young bunch. They are developing their core, they're developing their play, but they have gotten most of their scoring done on the top end of their roster, and they have not had a whole lot of depth to go with it. Peter Petito is riding to what we know is a point streak so far, 4 games in that regard, and he's our player to watch tonight on the FAU Owls side. Expect him and Drew Renzi, who slots back to the defensive position, Renzi, to have a big part of the offense in this one for Florida Atlantic. And we'll get you ready for puck drop in just a minute and a half. Don't go anywhere. We're ready to drop the puck here for the first of 2 games this weekend between FAU and Tampa in this old rivalry. We'll be back in a minute's time here on Owl TV. Anthems are over, and we are set to go in the nightcap here at Boca Ice Center. We'll look at both goaltenders. First, the starter for the Tampa Spartans. They turn to Aiden Miller out of Lynchcroft, New Jersey. The Middletown High School veteran has one win in 2 starts this season. And October 3rd had the save in Lynn. Their 7-3 victory over the Fighting Knights, saved 24 of 27 in the W. Some good experience for a young netminder and Jack Walsh's squad. For the Florida Atlantic Owls, Andrew Yagoda turns back to Matthew McMillan, who's been their perennial starter out of White House Station, New Jersey. Finished 4th in save percentage among College Hockey South goaltenders with a minimum of 8 starts a year ago. And a couple of wins to his name. And Tampa turns back out there with their top group: Trace Cowart, Tommy Antanasio, Kieran Thompson, Alexander Valencia, and their leading scorer, one of them, Brennan Sickles. Owls turn to the second line with John Bayano, Peter Petito, Chris Iannicelli, and at defense, Drew Renzi, their leader, with Mike Terry. Puck is dropped. We are underway for this M3 matchup at Boca Ice Center, and first touch is iced immediately by the M3 Owls. On the Tampa Spartans side, 9-3-0-0 under Jack Walsh's 6th season at the helm of this squad. Gained his 100th win as a head coach for this program and their championship in the Battle at the Beach over Embry-Riddle. And speaking with Jack Walsh earlier, as that shot from the right wing circle goes wide of the blue crease. Big point he emphasized with this group is that they have washed the slate clean from their getting swept against USF. They were undefeated up until a series with Miami a number of weekends ago, and they are one of the best in the conference and, of course, nationally. Number 3 in the nation. John Bayona isn't after it. He takes a closing hit by Kieran Thompson. The Floral Park, New York native for the Spartans will get back into the play, as this one's handled by Tommy Antanasio, defenseman, 6'3", 237. He is by far the biggest player on this small and speedy Tampa roster. This one at the end boards is dumped through by Sam Watson. Cross-ice feed, wants to connect with Peter Petito and misplayed it. He'll have to retreat back to his own end of the ice. This one's turned over, caught by Cal Harrington. Fluttered through the left circle as Sam Watson collided with a Spartan at the far wings. It's caught up by Eric Lehrhaupt. Ryko, they call him, out of Hilltown, Pennsylvania. Leaves an open lane for Tyler Hoffberg stepping into the play, and that puck will trickle to open ice. Collected at the near end boards by Connor Strom. Goes D-to-D with Jake Buccigross, and Buccigross had a great Battle at the Beach tournament. Scored a few against Miami AC/DC in the only game we called on Owl TV. Part of the sweep over the AC/DC Hurricanes. Puck is in the Owl zone, deep behind the end boards. Cal Harrington gets after it. He gets crunched over, nearly fell to the ice. Now turning around a forward with Justin Lopes. They'll tie it up at the half boards, up at the point. Closing in towards the puck. Jumping on it was Cole Burton out of Ontario, New York. Owls want to get up, but not out. Antonovsky can't clear. Here comes the Tampa Spartans the other way with a snapshot that goes wide of goal from Alexei Iskra. Getting back to the end boards. They keep the forecheck deeper. Lou DeFalco as a whistle comes from the far official. And we've got our first penalty of the game. And they are going to send a Tampa Spartan for cross-checking. I'm sorry. Yes. Never mind. It is on the Owls. I stand corrected. So, Jake Buccigross was the man. Kind of a tough angle for me to see at the far part of the Tampa zone up here on the balcony. But it is Buccigross going to the box for that cross-check. First power play of the night for Tampa. They are a lethal bunch. They had 5 power play goals on the weekend against USF, and here comes FAU with Connor Strom up right wing. Centering feed for Iannicelli, too far away. Defended by Harrington, and he'll give it back to the alternate captain and Trace Cowart. Rather, not the alternate, there's the alternate, Ethan Gelman, number 24 out of Morganville, New Jersey. Gets decked over in the far boards by the killer, Moriarty. And it trickles out of the blue line. A tough start to the power play for Jack Walsh's crew. This Man advantage is led by Carter Haynes, fifth-year coach for Tampa, former player as well. In fact, all of the coaches on this Tampa squad are former players. Tyler Hoffberg after it in the far wing. He'll play tag at the point. Which for a lane, he's pushed over for a moment, gives it for Cowart towards the net. McMillan fought it off, and Tampa unable to hold the line as a clear is dumped out of here by Sam Watson, the captain for FAU. Jake Nealing, freshman out of Arlington Heights, Illinois, will carry it himself over, entering the zone, the blue line, knifing the puck away was McMillan, and a scary tumble for Nealing as he's tripped by the sprawling McMillan. At the blue line, it's cleared by the Owls and Mike Terry, number 43. Terry will sidestep the check from Lou DeFalco, and then Terry wanted to keep the actual forecheck going as Nealing came in to close the gap. Now Spartans back on side, drop pass, Nealing scores! A wrister between the hash marks, and Tampa strikes first on the power play. A nice drop by Hoffberg for Nealing. And he'll give love on the other side for Aiden Miller, the defenseman out of Arlington Heights, Illinois. Unofficially his fourth goal of the season on our charts. Remember, we are missing a couple of games, 3 exactly, on the scoring metrics for Tampa this season. But for Nealing, all that matters is he's netted the first one in this contest. 9th point of the year through 8 games. Make that 9 now, and the Spartans capitalize on some open ice as the dwindling seconds in that power play were coming. A.J. Lavallo out of Buffalo, give and go at the point with Valencia. Swings it far wing, shot towards McMillan, never got through, blocked in front by Moriarty. Held on side by Ryan Wilbur, number 8 in black. They'll keep it deeper to the zone, and Owls jump on top of the puck. Deeper in there, trying to get after it. It's Rothamich now gets sandwiched between 2 defenders. Deep to the trapezoid, sharp angle try on Aiden Miller, and I think Miller got a piece before it fluttered to the opposite wing. Moriarty centering feed, and they score! A.J. Berry! That chance didn't look like much of anything, but the softest feed to the front of the net you'll ever see from Moriarty connects. And A.J. Berry, the sophomore out of Davie, Florida, puts the Owls on the board. Less than a minute after the power play goal by Jake Nealing. And Owl fans can rejoice. The Owls, after another bad start, giving up the first, have answered. And let's see how much jump they've got with this young crew. 6-8, 1-0 on the season. They're 2-5 in division play entering tonight. Iannicelli, turnaround shot, went wide of the right post. Sidesteps the defender in Colbert, and we've got a whistle from the blue line by the far official. And they're going to send somebody motioning towards, looks like Chris Iannicelli, but it is a Tampa Spartan instead. So Cole Burton, the defenseman, is going to the box. So FAU gets a power play shot. They're going to bring out their leaders, Drew Renzi, Peter Petito. Expect to see Sam Watson, although he is not currently out there. So here comes this man advantage, this power play unit. We don't officially have numbers on, as frustrating as that is to say to you folks. We don't have as many records put in for this FAU crew right now. So at some point I'll be able to tell you about their official numbers, but for now it's all just an eye test. And the eye test says FAU's power play has been better. They had a ton against Miami AC/DC in the game we called, but they struggled mightily against Lynn. They took a lot of penalties in that game. Peter Petito swings it for Connor Baker. Far wing connected, deeper for Renzi. They'll swing it around. And cross-checking is the call on Cole Burton for Tampa. Back-to-back cross checks on both sides. Iannicelli couldn't hold the blue line in. Racing after that puck is Ethan Gelman, who lost an edge at the far half boards, and that allows Owls back in with some odd numbers. A shot from Petito is gobbled up by Aiden Miller out of Lynchcroft. This penalty kill unit is manned by Brennan McDonald, his 4th year for the Tampa Spartans coaching. It's a longevity staff, and another point about this Tampa coaching staff is that all of these guys, being former players, have experience at nationals. The story for them coming into the night was the number 3 rank in the nation. This crew competed at AAU nationals in M2 a year ago, but they were no match for this FAU crew, at least, the M2 FAU Owls, who hanged the 2025 banner here at Boca Ice Center. So this is an M3 Owl team that went on the road and beat this, what was AAU M2 Tampa team a season ago. So a lot still at stake, and these two now, of course, are conference opponents in the same division. Sam Watson, 30 to go in the power play, swings it for Baker, left side. Petito lost it through his legs, got it back. Now he'll softly handle. Down low for Renzi, trying to stuff it on the jam, and Miller said no with the left pad. Sam Watson skates deep to the slot. He's broken up by a number of black sweaters, and we've got a whistle. And the far official motions the play dead. Owls are allowed to change some numbers. Looks like it was for a hand pass. Allows Petito to take the draw against Alexi Eskra. Baker retreats back to his own zone. Hooked behind for forward, and Renzi will skate wide in the middle for Baker, and had 2 bodies closing on him. Couldn't get the one-timer snapshot off, so that will do it for the power play. The cross-checking on Cole Burton. Tampa's back to the offensive zone, trying to feed in the middle of the ice. Kieran Thompson, and it went through his stick. At the far half boards, near side rather. Cal Harrington tries to jump in the play, and then it goes all the way past a retreating A.J. Lavulo. Race forward ensues, some open ice off McMillan. Trying to connect for Cal Harrington there was like Joyce. Not too many scratches on this Tampa team. They are relatively a healthy bunch. They're without Aiden Rodriguez and Gavin Palomchuk, who are 2 big defensemen for them. So they're having to go with even younger defensemen, with the likes of Cole Burton and Jake Nealing. But of course, Nealing, not someone you have to go to, considering he's got the only goal for Tampa on the power play, and so good on the blue line for them. Tampa races back into the offensive zone, and a shot towards McMillan is fought off from Valencia. He's their leading scorer, 10 points on this young season through 9 games that we counted. Of course, that's probably a little inaccurate because they've played more than those games. Here's a turnaround try that goes wide of goal from Thompson. Back in front for him, it was knocked free. Getting in the passing lane was Connor Strum. Trickles to the far half boards, now it's the blue line, not up and out. A tipped shot in front. McMillan saved the first time and has helped defensively, racing with it. Bucci-Gross, as his team is changing. He's all alone, rubbed off the puck by Antanasio, and he'll race to the neutral zone. Connects for Hofberg in the middle. Onside, Hofberg goes wide, drags, and breaking up the passing lane in front. Good job in the low slot area. Looked like Carter Baker. John Bayona. Poke check by Coward. After at the half boards was Lehrhaupt. Towards Miller. Easy stop with the pads. He gets help with Coward exiting. Now he'll enter the offensive zone. Toe drag to the McMillan, and McMillan made enough of a stop to get there. Sprawling, loose in the low slot. They all jam away at it. Puck is still loose, and now a whistle comes. McMillan had a ton of traffic in front. What a move that was by Trace Coward. Trying to toe drag Dangle. the alternate captain for Tampa, with 9:41 to go in this first frame. The score you see on your screen, 1-1. Goals on both sides, started by Jake Nealing, followed up by the Owls' A.J. Berry on a nice feed in front by Connor Moriarty. Draw to the left of Matt McMillan. Digging in is Gelman. He won the draw against Sam Watson, the captain for FAU. We'll get after this puck at the blue line. Slap shot. That one went off a stick wide from Ryan Wilbur. For Tampa, 9-3-0-0 on the year. This is their 13th game of the season. They have played all division opponents, so they are third place in the conference entering tonight. Coming off a sweep, getting swept by USF, the Bulls, where they could not stop Jacob Duhaime and last year's M2 Player of the Year, Grant Dietz. That USF squad is ranked currently, I believe, number 2 in the nation. Actually, it's either number 2 or number 4. As this puck is tied up far half boards. Tampa freed it up. Follow-up shot. Never gets to McMillan. Blocked down by a defender in front. And springs the rush for the Owls. And Petito has been a big addition to this team, dropping down from the M2 squad earlier this young season. Antonovsky falls over with Wilbur. In there is Watson. Pressed to the boards by Lavulo. Freed up. Getting after it was Gelman. Went off another body in powder blue. And Wilbur couldn't exit the zone with Antonovsky. Watson back in. Watson is all alone. FAU wholesale line change. They get Cañero out there calling forwards Renzi. Hybrid forward defenseman with Cañero as it's flipped off the half boards and out by Wilbur. Forces Renzi to retreat as out comes the Tampa Spartans and Bryce Krause, number 88. Bryce K, as many know him as. Popular influencer YouTube channel. And he also rocks a special twig we'll tell you about a little later in the broadcast. Here's A.J. Barrett, the only goal scorer. Rubs a man to the boards and Satsoulis, and that allows the puck to free out to the opposite wing. Cole Burton, Rothamich against Harrington. They fish for it. Cañero. Barry comes in to help. They're going to fish fry for it. Rothamich gets it out. Renzi holds it in. Looking for options. Wanted to connect with Cañero. Got it for Barry. Looking for his second. And Miller fought off the tip shot in front. Renzi gets through the defender and Satsoulis. Those two will fight to the near corner. Help coming on the back end from Nealing for Tampa. But Renzi has it still. Rothamich in the middle. He wants to cycle it up top to the point. He'll get a shot towards Miller, knocked down in front by Nealing, and he'll skate out to open ice and just clear it off the boards. Michael Terry for FAU will go back to retrieve it. Owls race back the other way. A quick pace to this one. Drew Renzi back in, slapped her towards the net, fell over behind the goal. Tampa's got a chance the other way as Bryce Krause has the puck moved around him. Owls spring a 3-on-2 to the net. Sprawling dive by Burton prevents the shot towards Miller. Connor Strum left-handed it for Norton. He'll cycle it down deeper for the quarterback, and Renzi in front for Strum, and it was knocked free by Nealing. Puck still in the offensive zone for FAU. Renzi forward it in front to nobody in particular. Slap shot by Lopes. Might have caught a piece of the glove of Miller, but it's out of play behind the netting. And for Andrew Yagoda's squad, second year coaching for him with Kevin Hoy, Justin Grandinetti, and Scott Grosky, the GM, in his 15th season, lead a young but hungry bunch. That's 6-8, 1-0 on the young season. I talked to him a lot about who he expected to step up for him entering this season, and a big player that he mentioned for them was Drew Renzi. That quarterback, as I mentioned, has a couple of assists to start this year. Unofficially, his numbers pretty good. A year ago had 39 points. He's rocking double digits entering this season. At the moment, I count 19. That's through 9 games, but keep in mind that was before the Battle at the Beach, so that's more like 21 or 22 now is iced by the Tampa Spartans. But the big point we're making is that with all of the departures they made to the M2 team, with Aaron Lentz, Christian Cuccia, Georgiano, their captain Anthony Campagne. They needed some new leadership, and they got that with Sam Watson, number 15 in powder blue. That sophomore has played a crucial role in getting this team somewhat going in the middle part of the year. They had a really tough start to the season. Delaware, Ohio junior, sort of an offensive defenseman. That's kind of how they roll with this squad. Renzi and Watson playing offensive defensemen, and they swap in and out of the lineup as forwards and defensemen, meaning Renzi went back to defense and Watson at forward. So here's Renzi, number 11, defending out of his own zone, playing his true position. This one is sent out by the Spartans, who need a reset. They'll connect with Tommy Antanasio. Dump and chase they go. Fresh line change for the Spartans. Thompson comes out there. He intercepts a puck towards McMillan, and that was tipped once and twice wide of goal. Collecting it in front is Iskra. Finds nobody in black sweaters. Bayona stole the puck away, and McMillan fortunate of a FAU bounce that goes wide of goal that time. At the red line, Coward enters. Drags around Norton. Another Moore carried at the point. Shot tipped wide by his own man, Harrington. Owls can't clear the zone. Knocked down by Petito. After it from his blade is Sickles. McMillan is down but not out as the net came off its moorings. And Brendan Sickles will have to fight another day for a goal. The sophomore out of Tampa, Florida, one of Jack Walsh's highly touted players on this team. And I asked him to pick out who are the leaders on this team and who you rely on a night-to-night basis. And he said, honestly, we're a team that tries to roll all four lines and create depth scoring, and they certainly show that. They have, what I count on my chart, 14 players with 5 or more points. And why that matters is because a lot of those guys have a goal to their season. Not every team can say that, considering that some have top 6 forward-heavy units, kind of like this FAU squad at the moment. But this Tampa crew really rolls it deep. Take your pick from Geltman, Reagan Lyon, who we haven't seen tonight, a big scorer out of the lineup as a scratch for Tampa. And of course, Jake Nealing, the only goal scorer for the Spartans in this game. Carter Baker races around Ryan Wilbur to the offensive zone. Andonovsky posts up, rubbed out by Harrington, carried by Wilbur to center ice. He'll enter the zone onside. Wants to drag around Bryce Malcolm. He stood up. Sam Watson absorbs a check. Sickles wanted after, lost handle, and Carter Baker, as FAU is making some soft changes with Cunero coming out, will give the puck back to the Spartans. Ryan Wilbur banks it off the boards, back for Moriarty, the opposite D-man. Gives it for Cunero, the big body forward will race in after it, right wing. Posts up near corner. Rubbed out Moriarty in a hard way. Allows an odd man break for the Spartans. Right wing chance. McMillan made the stop. Rebound flown out to the own shot by Sickles, and the follow-up wouldn't go. 3:23 to go in this first period. Sam Watson. Rothamich. Slap shot well wide of the blue paint. Canero's too far away. Inside positioning to Hoffberg. Gains the red line and dumps it in. After it with a heap of speed is Connor Strum, number 44 in powder blue. Up for Rothamich, went through his stick, collected by Valencia, pressured by Rothamich, and calling for it behind Rothamich was Nealing, or rather Barry. Nealing gets it here. Toe drags, Strum stood him up, and Bucci-Gross for now cleaned the lane, bouncing puck into low slot. Spartans come up with it, and a turnaround try by Eric Lehrhaupt wouldn't go. Went wide of goal off a Florida Atlantic skate. Bucci-Gross from his own end boards. Left wing, will start the breakout. Connor Strum for Cunero through his skate blade. Back to retreat it. They'll just force a reset. Tampa doing a good job forcing FAU from the neutral zone just to dump plays in. They have not had a lot of clean zone entries. Icing is waved off as that Spartan and Burton touched it. Calling for it, lead pass connects to Lehrhaupt. No, never mind, too far, too strong. As Burton has to fight for possession again. AJ Barry needs a change. He's tired on that shift. Centering feed, nobody home. Lehrhaupt had a crowd. He'll dangle through his legs, but the Owls get after that puck. They're going to race for it, the opposite wing. John Norton boxed out by Kneeling, who gains possession, will drag away from a streaking John Norton. That forces FAU to get Renzi back. He wanted to pounce on the offensive play, couldn't do it. Ethan Gelman hard. Drop pass off the shoulder and out of play from Satsoulis on McMillan. Quick start to this one. It's 1-1. We had 2 goals within a minute of each other. The power play goal by Jake Kneeling, the only chance for the Spartans so far. And how about this FAU team for now? Knock on wood at home, folks. Keeping it clean. This is an FAU team that takes as many penalties as you'll see in College Hockey South. Of course, we don't have the official metrics as there's a shot from the point that's blocked down by Renzi in front. They are one of the most penalized teams in the conference by a large margin. And we know that because they have taken 7 or more penalties in as many as 8 games this season. Here's a chance in the middle. Bryce Krause fanned on a one-timer. Stretch pass coming for Iannicelli. Too strong for him. He gets to the puck first anyway. Cowart finished his check on Iannicelli, and Antanasio sent it the other way. Yanni Satsoulis centering towards McMillan, and he's going to glove it down and get the whistle with 51.8 to go in the period. And a quick change for Tampa. So, I had a chance for you there, Bryce, to say a one-timer and led to a stretch pass for the Owls the other way. Face-off win for Tampa and a save by McMillan. Of course, we had Bryce on the College Hockey South podcast, College Hockey Mouth. Catch those every week on the College Hockey South YouTube channels. We're doing video format now. Some great hosts I join along with. Danny Bohm, our producer Gavin Coker, Lizzie Penogen, if you're listening out there. We got some more guests coming at some point. I want to get Jack Walsh in on an episode, or Andrew Yagoda. We're taking suggestions, by the way, so if you're listening, let us know who we should bring on the College Hockey Mouth podcast for a future episode. This one's dumped in by Tampa with 20 to go in the period. Behind the goal, Norton evades pressure by Burton, or rather Iskra. Wanted to connect with Renzi, miscommunicated it at the Boca Ice logo. Norton gains inside anyway, goes hard to the net, backhanded for Watson, and it went through traffic with 2 seconds left. Far half boards, Norton centering feed, they score! Peter Petito beats the buzzer! Did it count? They say it did! Oh my goodness, with 0.2 seconds left on the clock. I'm losing my voice from that. Peter Petito continues his march. This guy is unstoppable. And FAU is going to go to the break with a 2-1 lead. Wow. What a feed and what a finish. So the Owls will feel good. They're on top of the number 3 team in the nation. We'll resume in 15 minutes time. You're watching Tampa and FAU in this M3 matchup on Owl TV. We're back for the second period and an insane ending to that first frame with a buzzer beater FAU goal scored by Peter Petito, his fourth in as many games. And the bring down from M2 has been a huge addition for Enrico's squad. They lead the number 2 team in the nation, Tampa, 2-1. And I'll correct myself, if you were listening to us earlier in the broadcast, I said they were the number 3 team. They're actually number 2, so it just means a little bit more. Devin Serra riding solo with you and telling you quickly about the M3 rankings. This computer model is based on a number of different factors, but the main parts of the raw data are wins and losses, goal differential, goals scored by 5 or more in a game, their schedule, and the total. And this Tampa team right now was ranked 2nd in the nation with 7 wins and 1 loss. That's the metric that they were against. Middle Tennessee, number 1, perfect 9-0 in the metric, although they did lose a couple of games to some M2 opponents to start the year. They are technically undefeated against M3 opponents, so that's why it doesn't count. Your Florida Atlantic Owls are in the national ranking conversation. They are number 44 in the raw data contention. However, their record in raw data stands at 1 win, 4 losses, and 1 overtime loss. Take that as what you will. That's why uploading your games to the schedule is ever important, and this FAU crew, along with some other teams, have got to do that in order for these rankings to be set fairly. But nonetheless, we are underway in this highly important game for FAU. Their only goal scorers, A.J. Berry and Peter Petito, with 0.2 seconds left on the clock at the end of that frame. Flip ends of the ice. Tampa goes from left to right in those black sweaters with the red trim. A stretch pass connects to the net. Sickles scores on the backhand. Wow, a near perfect connection from Cal Harrington to Brendan Sickles, who on our chart has his 7th of the campaign. It's probably more. We're missing 3 games officially. Sickles, though, out of Tampa, Florida. This sophomore was a guy that Jack Walsh said to watch out for, considering that he moves as one of the shiftiest young forwards in this Tampa program. And just like that, within the first minute, Tampa has evened things up against the Owls. 19:24 left. We're just getting underway in the second frame. And so the Owls with Peter Petito out there, number 12 in powder blue, is going to have to find an answer now. That 2-1 score held for 36 seconds. And so Harrington does get the assist officially. 36 seconds into the frame. Owls trying to start a breakout. They have had a tough time doing that. Just 5 shots at the end of that first period to Tampa's 10. But of course they knotted 2 from A.J. Berry on a nice feed by Connor Moriarty midway through the first. And then that buzzer beater from John Bayona, a perfect feed to Peter Petito, left all alone in the slot to beat Tampa goaltender Aiden Miller. Spartans hold the onside play. Ryan Wilbur's taken down. Delayed penalty coming up on FAU. Once, twice, 3 times. Puck bounces around. Petito got the touch, but Tampa will go to their second man advantage. Getting knocked down was Wilbur. And going to the box for FAU, it's going to be Bucci Gross, and it's a cross-checking call. And we talked about this at the start of the broadcast, the penalty woes for this FAU crew. They have taken 7 or more penalties in what we count as 8 games this season. Now that may not be perfect, and that may be a little more or less than 8 games, but Owl fans, if you've joined us during this season, you know a number of times this Owl team, once they take 1, it usually comes in bunches They've got to be disciplined, and more importantly, they have got to have a great kill. But they have been solid this year. This Tampa team sits at a 90% penalty kill clip. FAU a little bit below that unofficial markings. So here we go. Bucci-Gross for the cross-checking penalty with 18:02 to go in the second. Stretch pass connects up left wing. Hoffberg to the net. He scores! Tyler Hoffberg! Tampa stays perfect on the man advantage. Short side stuff, and the Spartans have the lead back. On our chart, the 4th of the season for the Brandon, Florida native. Jack Walsh's crew can score a lot in a hurry, and FAU finding that out. They have been stymied, a bit stunned. They're having a heck of a time breaking out of the neutral zone, and once again they turn it over. Other way, here comes Lou DeFalco. Long shot on McMillan, and he's going to scoop it to himself and just draw the whistle. And so if you're into your go-to squad, a lot of resilient questions to answer. It's really felt like Tampa's game for the most part to start this contest. And you don't see a lot of signs of weariness from McMillan. Not much he can do on that. That's a perfectly placed short side shot on the shoulder of McMillan. McMillan was about 5 inches taller. I would say he might have a chance of stopping that, but that's the way it goes when you're a short netminder. I know, being a short guy. 17:24 left in this second. This one went through the legs of a player at the blue line. Shot, scores! How about that? There's a fever in the air in Boca, and Michael Terry from the point in traffic has tied this game up at 3. You know what, Owl fans? It might just be that kind of night. Michael Terry, somehow this puck got through a number of bodies. It was never tipped, but Aiden Miller might not have seen it. And for a defenseman out of Commack, New York, that's taken another level of leadership on this FAU team, you could not ask for a more opportune spot. And a bit of luck there, as Aiden Miller is going to want that one back for sure. Not much he could have done on the first 2 goals in this contest. That one, though scored by Terry, is going to put this game back at 3. St. Anthony High School, New York prospect. He transferred from Merchant Marine Academy in ACHA Division III a number of seasons ago. And his answer now is giving the Owls some life, but there's a player in the box for the Spartans, Eric Lehrhaupt, and so FAU will go to their second man advantage of this game. And they enter. Drop pass. Watson wanted one towards the net. That one blocked down by Cowart. Back at the point. Stopping on a dime. Right side chance, and Miller's going to gobble up with no rebound. Watson will get the assist at 2:44. Boy, such an odd sequence of events here. A Spartan penalty, which I'll get you in a second. Evidently, got to keep my eyes on the play. That's why I didn't call it out. We'll hear it in a second from our PA announcer, Chris. Long stretcher on McMillan. High sticking the call on Lehrhaupt. Renzi comes back into the offensive zone with Connor Strum. They're taking off the puck, rather Petito, and then it comes back. McMillan way out of the net to forward it for Strum. There's Petito, number 12, number 44 in Strum. Carter Baker back to hook out of his own zone with open ice. Owls want to set up with 44 to go. They have not done a whole lot in this power play so far. Behind the goal, it sweeps wide from Petito. Down on one knee is Rodriguez, or rather Wilbur. Owls are stuck behind the trapezoid. Connor Strum knocked off the puck by Cal Harrington, and a nice clear by the freshman defenseman out of Richmond, Maryland. McMillan from the half boards. Coast to coast, east to west. But the Owls unable to get an entrance. Carter Baker negated with speed. Ethan Gelman. Gelman stops. Skates around Petito. Loose for the opposite 12. DeFalco could never get a clean shot off. Watson rubs him out, but that does it for the power play. Make that 0 for 2, the Owls on the man advantage. And that lethal penalty kill by Tampa is showing. It's a bunch that takes a lot, but they are 90% on the year when they're shorthanded. Unsuccessful kills. Fight for into the far half boards. Rothamich smushes to the boards. Cole Burton behind the net, trying to collect it under his wickets is Norton. Can't get it free. Cunero, the big body, will direct it out to the point. Bouncing puck. Owls retreat with Moriarty. Hounded by Lehrhaupt. Ryko, as they call him, gets around a man. Moriarty checks his man to the boards. Would have been offside if the Owls touched it. They had to come back out. Rothamich in there, gets around one man. He's got help coming in the back end. Went through Barry. One-timer by Moriarty, blocked. A rebound. Chance for the backhand, went wide from Rothamich. He'll get after a turnaround try. In and out of the hands of Miller. Up but not out of the zone. Cunero drops right side. And Miller says no again. Cunero holding the end boards in. Rothamich, rather Barry, takes a shoulder up high, and he is down. 16 in power blue, clutching the face mask. Barry still fighting for the puck, even though he's hurt. Cunero wanted to stuff it short side. Miller negated the post. Out comes Wilbur. Help with Thompson. Waits on side. Shot towards the net. Blocked down by Malcolm. Into the glove of McMillan. And some looks for Moriarty. And jawing with Eric Lehrhaupt. Tampa will keep this unit out here. Owls make some press changes with Justin Lopes. Off comes Moriarty and Malcolm after a hard shift. Head coach Andrew Yagoda will put out his fourth line against the Spartans' second unit. Renzi from the boards. Intercepted by Harrington. He'll get pressed by Michael Terry, the most recent goal scorer from the point. And a tie hockey game. The number 2, Spartans. D-to-D they go. Right side of the ice. Into the wickets of Sickles. Terry opposite wing collects. Janitik to help. Closing the gap quickly was Harrington. Centering feed. Went through a number of legs. Ultimately for Thompson. But out to the red line comes Lavulo. They re-enter. Harrington for the Spartans. Right pad stop. Flush to the far wing. Janitik from the point dumps it. Rimmed around the end boards. Sickles. Near wing for Thompson. Norton gets after the puck. Swung left side, and Moriarty, rather McMillan, with a confident glove stop from the blue line. Chance by Wilbur. For Jack Walsh's crew, what we've seen a lot from them is that while they have the ability to outshoot a lot of teams, they tend to be more patient with squads that keep them honest, keep them defensively structured, and pack the box in. They're a group that really jumps on loose pucks. They frustrate their oppositions, getting their bodies. They're not the biggest group in the world, but one guy that is as big as they come is Trace Cowart, number 22, in black. He's their alternate captain, standing at 6'3", 165. That's a guy you want winning board battles for you. Peter Petito takes the shoulder of Lehrhaupt. FAU unable to establish a forecheck with Cowart racing out. Dropped it in the middle. Connor Strum, good job getting in the passing lane. Petito with a race, and Iannicelli on the opposite wing. Petito with a goal in the buzzer beater to end the first. Turns it over to Antanasio. He'll stretch the play to the neutral zone, and Tyler Hoffberg re-enters. Got one man to beat. Hoffberg inside to the net and scores! A bouncer goes over McMillan, and the Spartans have the lead back. McMillan lost his stick on that flurry. Hoffberg cut to the net. The puck was knifed by McMillan and flew into the air past the far post, and that is how it becomes a 4-3 Tampa lead with 11:45 to go in the second. And time of the goal will be 8:15 of the second. Hoffberg should be unassisted on this, and the Owls suffer. There's strength in numbers for them, but they could not hold defensively. And for Tampa, that is a weird goal that McMillan tried his best to challenge. I like the idea. Not much he could do once that puck got in the air. He lost sight of it. By the time he saw it, it was too late. So Watson will reset this at the neutral zone with Valencia. It's been a high-scoring affair so far. Owls only led in this game for a minute and a half. But they're trying to answer as Miller makes a nice stop on the short side. And looking to stuff that one home was Sam Watson. So he'll dig in for his own draw again. This is where Andrew Yagoda has challenged his leaders to make things happen. It's been goals by committee tonight for the Owls. 3 different goal scorers from guys you wouldn't maybe expect. A.J. Berry, Peter Petito, one you would, but Michael Terry doesn't come up a whole lot. So let's see if they can get a few out of guys like Watson, guys like Renzi. Michael Terry's out there, 43. Antonovsky. The top line for the Owls. Carter Baker. Get to say his name a whole lot. And we're going to get a whistle called, and this is going to be for sure a delayed penalty. Some jawing going on. This is what Tampa does better than any team. That's Lou DeFalco in there with Michael Terry, and it's ultimately a cross-checking call. So Terry will go to his bench, and DeFalco will go to the box for a cross-check. So the Owls, down 1 to the number 2 team in the nation, will have an opportunity. The 3rd power play of the night for FAU. 0 for 2 previously. They have not been known as a power play team this year, although they are, according to the eye test, good. Not great, not excellent, but good. And they're unable to hold at the far point, as racing after that puck was Peter Petito. He's going to have to retreat behind McMillan. Here's Petito with speed. Cuts wide. Dropped it intended for Terry, but that one fluttered over his stick, rather strum, and Baker has to go all the way back again. And I want you to watch what Tampa does at the neutral zone, because that is where their bread and butter comes. Renzi, though, cuts through the defense. Wanted to get to the middle for Watson. Those two on the ice together are lethal. Carter Baker in 20 in powder blue. Right wing swing for Petito. Watson with a lane to shoot, and Miller fought it off. It's loose in the low slot. The attempted clear out wouldn't go for Cowart, and the putback by Watson was wide. Petito at the far half boards. Carter Baker for Watson winds up into the stick. Knocked down by Antanasio and gloved by Cowart. He'll take it alone shorthanded. Cowart wanted to spinorama on Baker. He lost an edge. He allowed his team to change shorthanded. So the Owls with 45 seconds left will have a fresh start to their own end. They're a little bit tired out the last minute and a half. Here's Drew Renzi, skates wide without a stoppage. And what a job by Tampa in front of the net to help out their netminder, clear that puck away. If that one is not knocked down by Antanasio and Cowart, Owls would pounce on a loose one to jam it home past Miller, who at times has looked shaky with rebounds. Drew Renzi tending to go in the power play for the cross-checking penalty on DeFalco. Negated, short-handed chance. Here comes the Spartans. On the way, drop pass in front, and a nice pad stop by McMillan to prevent Kneeling from getting his second. Set up beautifully by Iskra. Here's Patino, scores! Peter Patino with 2! Andrew Yagoda needed the talent. He needed the help, and Petito is here. 2 goals, another multi-goal performance for one of the FAU program's best. What a job by that second line just as the power play ended. And that's a stinger for Tampa with such a good kill. Just one rush, just one break, and Petito makes them pay. Tampa back the other way, right pad stop by McMillan. At the point, unable to hold it in is Ryan Wilbur. And Baker and Renzi get the secondary assist. So Baker, or Watson from Renzi and Baker. Did I say Baker twice? Petito from Watson, or rather Renzi, and then Carter Baker. Geez. My mind is jumbled. We've called 2 games. I've been here for 6 hours. Here come the Owls, though. This is an entertaining one so far. 2 rivals duking it out. The Spartans re-enter. Lavulo, stick saved by McMillan way into the air. Bounce to the far wing. Kissed by Valencia. He'll keep it onside. Dropped it. Blocked in front. The rebound chance. Malcolm off his body. That came from Valencia, and it wouldn't go. Lopes absorbs a check. Sickles, 92, fed it for Harrington deeper. Moriarty defends him well. A.J. Berry parked out in front, blocked Sickles from getting to the puck. The opposite 92 in powder blue, Malcolm takes a check at the end boards. Cowart races after. The sustained forecheck on. We've got a whistle and a delayed penalty coming up. Moriarty wants a conversation with the official. He's going to get the explanation before going to the box. And they're going to call this interference. That is inopportune as ever. Tampa is 2 for 2 on the man advantage in this game. The power play goals by Tyler Hoffberg, and the first of the game by Jake Kneeling. Can the Owls get a kill? It's 4-4 with 7:15 to go in the second. Parked behind the goal is Tommy Atanasio. Cross ice pass connects with Hoffberg with speed. He's got the latest power play goal. In fact, he's got 2 in this game. Owls negated the blue line. Good defensive stand that time by John Bayona. Opposite wing, they re-enter in McMillan, and that one's swallowed up. Kneeling took the shot, and it wouldn't go through the 5-hole. And Matt McMillan, in a tenure that has been really up and down for him. The start of the year was terrific. This sophomore out of White House Station, New Jersey, led this M3 program to a nationals bid after Richmond dropped out of the M2 tournament in AAU. This team, though, was very, very much snubbed from the M3 field with Christian Cuccia, Aiden Georgiano, Anthony Campagne, just a talented bunch from top to bottom. Tampa's back to the power play. They score! Might have been tipped in front by Lehrhaupt, but the shot by Ethan Gelman goes. Tampa is perfect. 3 for 3 on the man advantage. Wow. A 6-goal second frame. And they make the Owls pay again. A team that hasn't taken a lot of penalties yet in this game, but that one is on a platter. What a job in front by Lerhaupt to screen the eyes, if nothing else, of McMillan. That's going to be one he wants back, but it's 5-4 Tampa for the third time tonight, regains the lead. Bryce Krause takes a sandwiching hit from Lopes. Keeps the play alive, however, up to the point for Kneeling. Kneeling shot on McMillan, fought off, rebound. Up but not out by Lopes. Goal goes to Lerhaupt, assisted by Gelman. So he does get credit for the tip. Tampa with the same sustained pressure, but the Owls come back the other way. Sharp angle try, fought off by Aiden Miller. Out of the zone, here comes Kneeling. Right side chance for Satsoulis, and he scores! Stuffed it short side, and the freshman puts the lead to 2. If you like them in bunches, this is the period for you. And there's some of that touted quick movement, quick forecheck, quick goals by the Spartans. And their M2 team gets almost all of the attention because of the talent they have and because of the premise. Former AAU Division I champions, but this Division III program with Jack Walsh looks like a team worthy of the number 2 mark in the nation. They are fast. They can jump on you in a hurry. They are, well, not as disciplined as they'd like to be. A team that frustrates oppositions. And a break comes. Tyler Hoffberg to the net. Saved by McMillan. Got just enough under his glove. And that would have been a killer. Sam Watson, cross-ice feed, connects to Baker. He'll wrap the boards. Some missed plays by Watson out of the blue line. Antonovsky will give it to Watson. Took a shot towards the net, but it was blocked and knocked out of play by A.J. Lavulo's stick. And boy, I don't even know where to start with the recap. We've had, on the Spartans side, 5 different goal scorers on 6 chances. Tyler Hoffberg, the only repeat. And for the Owls, it's 3 goal scorers on 4. Peter Petito has 2. He's not credited with the power play goal because that happened right as the last one expired. Strum to the net. That one went wide of goaltender Aiden Miller. Loose puck, Watson, rather Petito tried to jump on it. He got pushed by the opposite 12 to Falco. Out to the neutral zone. Retreating is Strum. Played that through a number of his own teammates. Bayona and Moriarty. Re-entering is DeFalco. Drops it, left side, dancing to the net, they score! What a beautiful play by the Spartans. Alex Iskra to Alexander Valencia. Tic-tac-toe, 7-4 Tampa. And that is as good of a play as you'll ever see from a forward unit that's buzzing now. 4:04 to go in the second, and the floodgates are really opening up. Owls did such a great job for a long time, holding off the pressure, matching the intensity of Tampa, matching with the goals, and now they've conceded the last 2. And And this thing is back to a 3-goal, either the first time tonight, this is at a 3-goal advantage. Another chance for Tampa to McMillan. That one directed wide by Terry off the stick of Brendan Sickles. They go into the far boards. Terry smushes in with Harrington. Watson tried to bump him off the puck successfully, but they're going to give Watson a penalty. And I believe it's going to be for interference. By the way, the secondary assist on that last goal to Alexei Iskra and Lou DeFalco on that Alexander Valencia tally. Valencia on our chart, his 5th of the season. Make that the 6th different scorer for the Spartans tonight. And there's a penalty on the Owls, as I just mentioned, so they will be shorthanded here, but they come with a rush. Justin Lopes. Diving play made defensively by Harrington. Or rather Jake Kneeling, who has one of the 7 goals for the Spartans tonight. Tyler Hoffberg stops, waits for help. From the point, puck sitting on the far blue paint. Nobody could jump on it. DeFalco too far away. 4th power play of this game. The Spartans are perfect, 3 for 3. 2 in this second period alone. Shot from Valencia went wide. Off the inboard glass. Bucci-Gras up and not out, held on side. Spartans quickly move it to McMillan, and he'll make a confident glove stop. And McMillan is jawing at the face of Lou DeFalco. Takes a push from Justin Lopes, and now we've got more. And some jawing from both sides on the ice. Some fans outside of here jawing at Lou DeFalco. You can probably guess some of the language. Not a whole lot of good. And going to the box for FAU now is Justin Lopes. And I believe it was because of that post whistle grab on DeFalco. So 2 power plays, 5 on 3. Here's the Spartan chance to really open this thing up now. Behind the net, Lehrhaupt. Spartans patient, Kneeling. Right wing side, shot from McMillan, fought with the blocker from Cowart. And everybody knows around the conference how much this Spartan group gets in the head of opponents. It's subtle, it's, if you're in opposition, aggravating. It's somewhat, in all honesty, calculated. I mean, they just know what to say, they know what to do at the right moment, and they've got the skill level to back it up. Here's Cowart. Place tag with Gelman. Cowart back to Gelman, left side of the ice. Kept wide by Renzi. 34 to go in the 5 on 3. Got it lower, looking for Sickles. Bayona knocked it away with his skate blade. Sickles has it though. He'll look for options. Cowart to the net. Saved by McMillan. Rebound picked up by Cowart. And Renzi is there to help him out. Flipped over to Spartans heads. Cowart jumps back to the play. Onside they come. Left wing chance. Bayona presses 22. In front, they score! The 4th straight power play goal, and Brendan Sickles is on the board for the 2nd time. And that 5 on 3, 2 killer penalties for the Owls. It's 8-4 with 1:33 to go in the second. I think it was hard to predict this could have happened after the Owls went into the first period up 2-1 on a buzzer beater by Petito. It's now the 4th unanswered goal by the Spartans. And they'll still have a power play here for the penalty to Justin Lopes. The assist will go to Trace Cowart. Nice feed to the right wing. Shot on McMillan, fought with the pad from Jake Nealing. Racing back to get it is Antanasio. Connects the lead pass for DeFalco onside. Right wing chance, blocker saved by McMillan. And if you're wondering why McMillan is still in net, the only goaltender that dressed. That one goes wide from Jake Nealing, looking for his second of the contest. Power play is over with 30 to go in the period. It's been all Spartans. 6 different goal scorers, 4 on the power play. FAU, much of the year for them has been their troubles with penalties, giving up power play goals. But it's more because they've given them up in volume. Bouncing puck in front of the net, trying to stuff it was DeFalco with his body. It went wide of goal. This one is saucered way down the ice by Justin Lopes. It'll reach the trapezoid, and they give them the icing, even though nobody was going to get there. I'm not sure that's the right ruling there by the linesmen, because you have to go and actually attempt for the icing. Nobody did for Tampa, so they're going to get a quick draw to the right of McMillan in what's been a 7-goal second period for the Tampa Spartans, number 2 in the nation. And they look like it right now. 3 goals on the power play that frame, and 4 unanswered. All Spartans as we hit the break for the final intermission of this one. We'll bring you back in 15 minutes. You're watching the number 2 Tampa Spartans and Florida Atlantic M3 on Owl TV. If you are a Spartan fan, you are in heaven right now. And for FAU fans, it's a lot of the opposite. An 8-4 Tampa Spartan lead at the end of 2 frames, and a 7-goal second period by the number 2 team in the nation. The Spartans, in front of goaltender Aiden Miller, are putting on a clinic right now. They are perfect on the man advantage, 4 for 4. I'll actually correct myself. They're 4 for 5. Scored on a 5-on-3, and then 30 seconds trickled off in a 5-on-4. So technically 4 for 5. But boy, they have gotten up in a hurry. And the most impressive thing for, I think, Jack Walsh's squad is not so much the fact that they can net all those in the goal, but it's the fact that they can put them in bunches too. Here's a slap shot by Bryce Krause that's fought off by McMillan, who's had a tough night. The starter netminder, the only one on the bench for FAU tonight. He's going to play the remainder of this game no matter what happens. There's a far and go chance by Jake Nealing, who scored the opener in this contest, feels like forever ago. And dancing through defenders, glove save, the rebound, freed up, long chance. Bryce Krause wanting to stuff it home, unable to get it past, as Nealing and Satsoulis are both just all over the FAU Owls right now. Satsoulis lays a check. Losing the stick is Connor Strum. He'll hold on to Satsoulis, who dangles through to McMillan, and he fights him off for the save. Turnaround try by Bryce. Slap shot around the far boards. Nealing. Tommy Antanasio. Yanni Satsoulis through the wickets to the red line. Ian Acelli. Bayona at the far side shot. I see a lady behind the end boards just totally unbothered. Just scrolling, eating, I think, peanuts. I'm sorry. Just totally scrolling on the phone. I don't know why that's just so funny. Oh, this game is, yeah, I think that's the tone. If you're out there scrolling, just know I understand. It's okay. This is a slobber knocker, to say the least, by the Spartans. Just so unbothered. I wish we could get a spot from Mitch right now. I don't know if we don't have enough camera personnel to get the shot for you, but if we did, I'd tell Mitch to capture this. Oh man, I'm all over the map. 17:45 left in this third. This is Antonovsky holding on to it behind his own goal. Skates away from Harrington, tipped at the red line by Antonovsky. You know, full disclosure, I'm just going to put this out there. I sometimes scroll when I'm watching NHL games. I'm not always locked in. Here's Sam Watson on a feed by Carter Baker. That went off his knee. Collected at the point for Moriarty. That one blocked in front off the skate blade of Cowart. And out of the zone is Tampa for now. We're going to say it was offside for Tampa. But, I mean, just no care in the world. Just scrolling, just waiting for this one to get over with. I don't know if she's been here as long as our production staff has. As our general manager, Scott Grosky, making some trades over there in front of the Howell locker room. Just kidding. There's no trades in club college hockey. I'm losing my dang mind up here on the balcony. We're almost to midnight, and we've got it all again tomorrow. These teams will close out this series from Boca Ice. That sharp angle try goes over the head of McMillan and bounced off the glass and picked up by Ryan Wilbur. Somehow we have not seen Ryan Wilbur get on the board in this game. It feels like he's had 4 or 5 prime opportunities. And Andrew Yagoda's squad is really feeling the lows right now of what's been just a abysmal start to their M3 conference play. They're 2-5 entering this game. They lost 6-2 to Lynn. Allowed a bunch unanswered, a couple on the power play. There's one that's tipped into the glove of McMillan from the shot by A.J. Lavolo. And before the season started, we had lengthy conversations with Andrew Yagoda about what was it going to be like to play well, it's a higher level of competition than they faced last year. All of the D3 teams for CHS this year, almost all of them are from CHS M2 a year ago. The one thing he told us was they are essentially defending the Owls title from M2 because their competition is what the squad for Christian Long and the now M2 Owls and ACHA faced last season. They faced this Tampa team, they faced Embry-Riddle, they faced a number of squads that FAU on the M3 side has really struggled with. And part of that conversation is the fact that this M3 squad struggles against teams that are more structured, a little bit more physical than them. They're not the biggest bunch, this M3 group, and they rely on their speed for almost everything. Defensively, though, they have really struggled to, one, stay out of the box, and two, help their goaltender. Here's a chance right side, and they score. Valencia. And make that 9 for the Spartans and the second for the Maple, Ontario, Canada native, the sophomore. Opener of the third period. He had one late in that second on a nice play by Lou DeFalco and Alexei Iskra on a tic-tac-toe goal. And for Valencia, that'll be on our chart, the 6th goal of his season so far. We talked about the depth on that Tampa side for Jack Walsh. Here's another chance in front, and Ethan Gelman is foiled by Matt McMillan, just trying to hold on to the end of this game. The big question we had for Jack Walsh was, being ranked number 2, you had some experience at Nationals. He went to ACHA Nationals when this squad was M3, the original Tampa program, 3 times. And I said, what do you take from that experience that you can share with the young guys? And simply put, he said there were things you can take and you can't. Beating big opponents back in the day against Florida Gulf Coast, for example, was huge. And just getting into the tournament was a big deal for this Tampa team. But they have the capability. Look out, stretch pass connects for Satsulin, looking for his second. And he rang the top of the crossbar. The follow-up scores from the half-boards. It was tipped by Satsoulis from Atanasio and make that 10. That makes Satsoulis the 4th different multi-goal scorer in this game for the Spartans. He joins Valencia, Sickles, and Hofberg. What a goal. Wow. That was just a sharp angle tip in front by Satsoulis. Rang the iron and got the follow-up to go from the far boards. Help from Atanasio there. And real quick, just to finish the moot point, it's that Tampa, again, they turn around by Antonovsky's save. They feel like they have the actual talent, the structure, the physicality to compete and win a national championship, with some of those Michigan teams included in this latest ranking. Tampa sits number 2 behind Middle Tennessee, followed by Oakland University, then South Florida, and saying all this from seeing the M3 league for the last couple of years, saying this from watching M3 hockey for 4 or 5 years. I covered a team in Central Michigan for a number of years during my undergrad and college, and the thing you learned about that group was that the M3 field is dominated by Michigan teams that play a AAA level of hockey experience, play with a aggressive 2-1-2 forecheck. They hound pucks, they jump on you in a hurry. Their entire game is to tire you out and make you suffer defensively to the point where you feel like you cannot exit your own zone at any point. And some of the teams that Tampa may just have to face at Nationals if they hold on to this ranking and eventually get the bid: Grand Valley State, Oakland University, Lawrence Tech, who won their first national championship 2 seasons ago, is they look like one of those Michigan teams that can take you out of games and score in bunches, that can rough you up when you're a smaller bunch, that can frustrate you and make you have mistakes. And of course, this FAU team, Owl fans know, is no exception to that. They're a learning bunch. They're young. They unequivocally lost a lot of their talent, and they don't look like the same team they did a season ago when they had Georgiano, Cuccia, Campagne, and a few others. But they do have the top-end talent, and Andrew Yagoda, if he can build this program, teach these guys and grow through these pains, they can have a chance to compete once again in the conference. There's still a young season. It's still a lot up for grasp. But losing games like this, losing to your rivals in Lynn, getting shut out by Embry-Riddle, there's just been some tough moments for this FAU team after they had a great battle at the beach. I mean, a win over Florida Tech, a really hot ACDC team. They keep it close with Florida State in the championship game. They lose the lead in that one like they have in this contest. And I think their biggest problem is besides the discipline, just a lot of gusto. It seems like they lose a lot of their game, lose a lot of their belief in games early if one goes in or two goes in. They're a learning bunch that is figuring out just how to stay in games and ultimately not cause self-inflicted wounds. The penalties tonight haven't been a lot, but Tampa is 4 for 5 on the man advantage, and a penalty kill group that we touted could probably keep up with Tampa in this game has seen the worst of it. There is a player in the box for the Spartans in Lou DeFalco. So this is the third power play for FAU tonight. Far wing, John Bayona cuts to the net. Aiden Miller makes enough of a stop under his pads. He's got it on the blocker's side. And up and down the structure of the lineup, the young players on this program side that are building into sustained program players like Carter Baker, Jake Bucci-Gross. You think about A.J. Berry, who looks terrific out of Davie, Florida, the sophomore wearing number 16, that winger. I feel like that's a player you could see at the M2 level eventually in a year or two from now. And this is just part of the deal. It's a tough league. College Hockey South has improved immensely. I would say objectively they are one of, if not the top most improved conference around the ACHA and college club hockey the last 2 or 3 years. Time dwindles down in the power play. Here's Sam Watson. Cross ice feed for Carter Baker. Connects. Got it deeper for Antonovsky. Cross ice. Watson unable to handle it cleanly. Go back, calling for it. Baker flipped over his stick. Some passes that don't connect. Iannicelli. Power play is over. They still have the forecheck on in front looking for Baker, and it went through his stick and Sam Watson. And they've got one defender back with Watson as he slams to the boards, falling down with Lou DeFalco. And Spartans will regain possession and go D to D with Cole Burton. And a final point we'll make about Nationals. I just announced the schedule for that. It's going to be March 5th to the 15th from St. Louis, Missouri, a 10-day tournament. And the D3 side will be on the second half of that, so around the week of October 10th, or March 10th rather. And for fans that have not been, Tampa fans that is, I think you're really going to like the setup out at Centene Community Ice Center in Maryland Heights, Missouri. It's 3 rinks. The St. Louis Blues practice facility. They've got the Hollywood Casino Hotel just across the parking lot, literally. And if you can survive a tornado or two, which have popped up the last 2 years at that tournament, it's, besides that, a great time. A lot of great connections are made. A lot of great parents, families, staff members I've had the pleasure of meeting out there. A lot of fun. This is iced by FAU, so it's coming back to their own zone. Winning that race was Cole Burton. And for the conference to be represented by one of the best programs in the country in Tampa, both their M2, all three of their programs, M2, M3. The women's side looks unstoppable right now in the women's division. They're the favorites to go and represent the conference at nationals if they can get a bid. I really think you're going to see Tampa surprise people. Nationally, nobody's going to probably think of the Southern teams as being able to do much. And I think it's an opportunity for Tampa to really prove a lot of people wrong, to represent the conference in the right way, play the right style of hockey, which is really evident is a skilled speed game for them. Here's a odd bouncer. Valencia looking for the hat trick towards McMillan, and he sealed the right post well enough. McMillan down on one knee, gets back up. Good to see that. No Seth Fisher on the bench tonight, so that's why you see Matt McMillan holding out for this absolute trouncing right now as Tampa's in a boat race. 10-4. Halfway through the third period. Centering feed. Nobody home. Hofberg with 2 goals in this game, number 86 in black. Up to Jake Nealing. Gets around Bayona. Dances to the left side of the ice. Baker keeps him to the outside. And work it back to the points. Here's Sickles for Nealing. Each with a goal in this game for Bryce Krause. He'll trade places. Up to Nealing. Got it deeper. Some quick movement by Tampa. FAU just has to pack the box. Looks like a power play on the one-timer by Sickles. And a nice skate stop by McMillan. Having to do a ton of moving. Just tired. Hanging on his knees. Goaltender touting the all-black paraphernalia. Point passes. Nealing. Right side. Opposite wing with Cowart. Up top to Nealing. Diving play. Went through Hofberg's legs and wide of goal. And held at the point barely by Nealing. Owls needed a change, and that one is rewarded. Jake Nealing on the perfect keeping at the far blue line. And he joins the 2-goal club. It's 11-4 Tampa. That is picturesque. Barely that puck stayed onside, but it definitely did for those at home. And just such a frustrating night for Matt McMillan. Really feel for that guy. He's a great person. I wouldn't say kid because I'm close in age to him. Sophomore out of White House Station, New Jersey. This one should not be held against him. He has not had a whole lot of help from this Owl team defensively. It'll be a blemish on his record. The stats won't look pretty. Neither has this game, especially late. Owls led this game at the end of the first, 2-1. Andrew Yagoda takes a timeout to talk about this one. And Jack Walsh and his crew just telling his guys to stay out there. We have nothing we really need to talk about. Andrew Yagoda, though, is just rallying the troops right now. And I don't blame him. Talking to a young FAU team that this is a real growing pain for them right now. It's a teaching moment in that you have to expect every game to be a dogfight. You need a consistent work ethic, and just that consistency has not been there from an ability standpoint. It's not for a lack of effort. I feel like FAU doesn't really just sit back and play lazy at all. They just don't play succinctly. They get kind of rattled, in all honesty, against teams that are more skilled than them. And in this lineup that some guys got some good nationals experience a year ago, they're really feeling the brunt of losing guys that were their program, right? Christian Cuccia, of course, former M3 Player of the Year a season ago. Aiden Georgiano, their captain Anthony Campagne. There's a lot of question marks to be answered the rest of this season for FAU. And every game means something, regardless of the score. And especially when you're a young group and you've got to learn how to hang in games. This is as good of a team as you can get. And Tampa, number 2 in the nation. And with 7:17 to go, let's see if they can take anything away for their contest tomorrow where they'll finish this out. This one stopped behind the goal by Malcolm. Up top to the point. This one intended for Baker goes wide. Stolen, and with a race with it, Jake Nealing. Over the Boca Ice logo onside, drops it. Shot towards McMillan, goes through. That's Kieran Thompson. His first goal of the game. 12-4. I am out of room on my score sheet. Well, that's the first time I've had to do that in a while. I don't even know if I can count this right, but that is on my chart the 8th different goal scorer for the Spartans tonight. And it's been a doozy, and they're going to get revenge for an M3 Owl team that went on the road last year and upset this Tampa team when they were M2. Bryce Krause knocked off the puck by Caniero. This one at the point, negated. Racing out with it is the Owls, and dumped in by John Norton. Falls to one knee. Trips up Spartan and Ryan Wilbur. That'll trickle out to neutral ice. Krause there to pursue alongside Alexi Iskra. It's a running clock now as we get to the end. Wraparound try for Gelman wouldn't go. McMillan held the far post well enough. And a reminder to join us for 2 more games tomorrow on the Owl slate. Started off with, or will be started off, I should say, with M2 taking on the Florida Gators. A huge win, 6-3 tonight for FAU M2. They needed it after they dropped 4 of their last 5. Heading into that game a couple hours ago, had an upset loss to Embry-Riddle M3. Before that, they were swept by the M2 Tampa Spartans. And many people that saw that know it was as lopsided as you can get through 2 of the games. They went to overtime in the second one with a loss to Tampa, but beat their rivals in Lynn in the 3rd place game at the Battle at the Beach, 6-0. 4th career shutout for Rocco Bruno. We expect to be in net tomorrow as well. He had a great performance today. Stopped 30 of 33 in their eventual win. Florida, a bit of a banged up team on the M2 side of things, but they are the top team right now in College Hockey South M2. This one off the far side of the net. Here's Bryce Krause. Went past his stick. Trying to get in there with Michael Terry, and racing back is Connor Moriarty. And this M3 team will take on Tampa to finish this series at 6:45 p.m. Eastern. You catch myself on the call again. Mitch Liswith, our producer. No color for this M3 series. Wes Moore will rejoin me on Sunday for the closer of FAU and Florida at 4:15 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. So, Bryce Malcolm over the line. Wrapped around the end boards. Sam Watson fights off one man. Threw it out to open ice. Banked off the FAU logo at the end boards. And at the red line, it's dumped in by Tommy Atanasio. Knowing the situation, we'll just flutter this deeper to the zone. They'll go off for changes. Red line, it's held. McMillan out to play the puck. Left it there for A.J. Berry.
Barry, the first goal scorer decades ago, it feels like, with Connor Moriarty on a great assist. Three different goal scorers in this game. If there's any silver lining, Peter Petito, number 12, has really been terrific. Had a number of multi-goal games their last 6 contests since he joined the M3 team, dropped down from men's Division II. Help a little bit of the depth in this M3 roster. That M2 squad just really doesn't need it. And unselfishly, Petito helping out a developing crew. Player that has been very touted. One of the top scorers a year ago. Here's a chance and a goal on the backhand. Yanni Satsoulis has the hat trick. The freshman out of Waxhaw, North Carolina, with 7 goals on the campaign now. Nice backhand move. Going from left to right past Matt McMillan. A pretty funny celebration there from the Spartans, holding the sticks in the air. 3:18 to go. I thought it was a running clock, but it's really not. So, Satsoulis and Jack Walsh's crew feeling pretty good about themselves, to say the least. We talk about FAU M2 and M3 sort of combining forces to move spots in their roster. This Tampa program with, of course, Jack Walsh won 100 games as head coach in the Battle at the Beach Championship against Embry-Riddle. As this one is netted home through again. A turnover by the Owls right in front. It's backhanded out, and that one looked like it was finished by Brennan Sickles. I am completely out of room. Like I'm writing into my notes, which doesn't happen very often. Might have been Valencia as well getting the secondary assist there. So far wing boards. If you like post-game recaps, I'll try my best to give you the metrics, and another one goes through. Make that 15. Wow. I mean, Kieran Thompson with his second in this game. And now this is just absurd. This feels like that Miami game when FAU M2 beat the Hurricanes 14-0. And they're actually gonna put a Spartan in the box for that post-whistle celebration. That's Eric Lehrhaupt. And that goal by Thompson, the Floral Park, New York native, rather, gets to softly celebrate. And man, if you're FAU, the only thing you can say here is you just gotta wash it. If there's any feel to the fire, I think Tampa's had some very interesting post-goal celebrations, despite this being a 15-4 game. So, if you're an Owl playing, take that what you will. But when you're that good, you're allowed to celebrate whichever way you want. And certainly the Spartans do that. Sam Watson, 2 minutes to go. Intended for Bayona, will go way outside of the blue line and all the way back to the Owls' end. Bayona gets back on side. Floats past the defender. Floated out by Kneeling. It'll be the Spartans' 10th win of the season. They'll move to 10-3-0-0 overall and in conference play. They continue their march towards nationals. Number 2 team looked like it tonight. And this one, if it's put in the record books, which FAU has evidently got to do, since they are the home team, I mean put their scores in the ACHA website is what I'm referring to. This one will look pretty good on their record. FAU came into tonight number 48 in the raw data. That's in the top half of ACHA Division III teams. Whatever it means, it's been all Spartans in this one. The hat trick from Yanni Satsoulis, followed up by 5 multi-goal scorers and a host of others. Peter Petito had 2 in this game for FAU, alongside A.J. Berry and Michael Terry, but that was all for naught. Offside is the Spartans as we close this one out, and McMillan with a shove late. Jake Kneeling draws a crowd, and as this game closes out, just the Owls trying to defend their netminder McMillan, and this will definitely continue into tomorrow. McMillan's just been jawed at all game. I don't blame the frustration there. Said it time and time again, and you know, it's a cliche, folks, but I don't say it just to say it. They frustrate opponents. They are one of the best teams at doing that I have seen in a while. So they'll just softly put in a player in the box for that. I believe it is Kneeling. And that'll give us one more face-off draw, hopefully, and then we're all out of here. Thanks for staying up with us and into Saturday morning, November 8th. We'll be back here in, give or take, 17 hours to finish this series out. 6:45 p.m. tomorrow. We'll have an abbreviated post-game show here. Thanks to our producer, Mitch Liswith. All of the FAU operations people, Christina Stafaliris, Kim Casey. We had Greek night for M2 earlier in their 6-3 win. Packed house. Thanks to all the FAU students for coming out and supporting the Owls hockey program. And they're taking quite a while to just get us done with this face-off draw. Won by the Spartans, right side chance, saved by McMillan. The follow-up in front with 5 to go. Spartans trying to net one more. That'll float to the corner boards, and that will be all. The Spartans win this boat race 15-4. They dominate their rivals FAU and make a statement as the number 2 team of the nation. Jack Walsh has these guys going, and they're a proud bunch that's going to finish it up tomorrow as well. 15 goals. Absurd. And FAU only goal scorers, Peter Petito, Michael Terry, A.J. Berry in the first and second. Spartans finished with 4 power play goals, I believe, on 6 or 7 chances. It's got a little messy there at the end with all the coincidentals and the late penalties. FAU gonna make quick use of this handshake line and try and flush this. They'll have a chance tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. Eastern time. We'll give you the final rundown of goal scorers before we're out of here. On the Tampa side, deep breath, folks. I'll do my best to take it slow. Jake Kneeling, Brendan Sickles, Tyler Hoffberg with 2 in this game as well. Eric Lehrhelp, Yanni Satsoulis with the hat trick, the story for Tampa. Alexander Valencia, Jake Kneeling, Kieran Thompson, and to finish my long board out, Sickles followed by Thompson again. So there you have that. If you want to keep stats, there you go. That's what you've got Final score tonight, 15-4. Tampa gets the win. And we'll finish the series tomorrow at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Time. For our entire Owl TV production group, Mitch Liswith, and our great camera personnel, my name is Devin Serra. Thank you so much for sticking with us into the early morning, late night here. And we'll see you all tomorrow for some more back-to-backs. This has been a presentation of M3 FAU Hockey on Owl TV. Have a great night.